Good morning, everybody. Here in Cape Charles in my office, and I go live every Monday, generally around this time, 10:30 a.m. And today, I feel like I have a really great live planned for you guys. You might be one of our Skin Classic providers that does run of the mill skin tags, cherry angiomas. Maybe you want to up your game a little. You've seen a lot of great before and afters, and you're wondering, how do you get to that point where you're doing this more what you think is advanced, but actually isn't? But I'm calling it advanced right now. And hey, before we get started, as you come in, let me know who you are, where you're watching from. That's very exciting. And I'll do a little housekeeping in just a bit and let you know how to get all the stuff that you're going to see in this broadcast sent to your messenger straight away. So let's see here if I can. Wow, a lot of you guys are really popping in here. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yes, so let me know where you're from. And for those of you that don't know who I am, you might be popping in for the first time because actually I am streaming here on my RN Faces business page where I love to come live every Monday. I'm also in our special group, Thermolysis Skincare for Estheticians, YouTube and LinkedIn. So if you are on one of these platforms, I'm so happy to have you. But if you want the slideshow from today, make sure that you hop on over to my RN Faces Facebook page and you'll be able to get linked up with this slideshow. So, okay, let me see if I can see all of you guys here. I don't know why. And give me a thumbs up or a heart or something so that I know that you can hear me, so you can see me, and I've got everything going on. Okay, looks like okay. Hey, oh, and Tiffany and Aaron. Oh, thanks, guys. I so appreciate that. Yep, awesome. And I've got some new faces in here, so that's great. So today's objective is for you to actually see the treatments for advanced things. Like, let me get started right away here so that you can get on with your day. And okay, so, I always like to have a little fun in my practice. If you don't have fun, you can't make money. So if you are following me on TikTok, I would so appreciate that because I love you all. And it's a great way for me to keep up with you guys. When I get new video, I pop it up to TikTok generally right away and try to get the word out that way. But I'll always be placing those in other ways as well. So let me just.
You don't have to like me.
Here we go. Okay. So follow me on TikTok for some like cutesy kinds of things, but you're going to see that I really get up close with TikTok and do the treatments on there too. Hey, everybody. Wow, that is awesome. Okay. So now let me get to my next slide here to get the party started. So the Skin Classic, let me just put this on for a second so you all can see it in case you are new to the Skin Classic and you want to see what it does. Okay, so, and if you're new, you gotta stop that stuff, whatever that is. Okay. So, and you guys may be new, some of you may be new to the Skin Classic, or you just need a bit of a review. Before we go into the advanced work, let's just know that your Skin Classic is great for so many things. But if anyone has any dermatological disorder in the area that they're treating, you won't treat. And pacemakers actually are something that we do want to get the doctor's blessing on, but there's not a circuit of electricity, no grounding pad. So most MDs will say yes, but you must get their permission first. We never like to work on anyone that is pregnant, just for liability purposes. People with lupus have different collagen-based disorders, and they can be different. So get your doctor's advice on that one. Some cases may be mild, and they can have certain procedures. If somebody's an Accutane user, you don't want to use the Skin Classic on them for at least 6 months, but maybe your doctor may say a year. So make sure that you do check. We don't work on any clients with melasma in the face. If they have a few skin tags on their neck, that's fine. Nothing in the face, not even capillaries. The heat will make it darken. We do not treat any moles. That's left to our medical professionals. And I don't mean nurses by that way. I mean your doctors, because it is something with a blood supply. It can bleed. It can heal not so nice because it is a dermal irregularity. You could get scarring with that. And you don't want to treat anything with a dermal blood supply. We'll get into a little bit of that with the use of your derm light, and treating any flat hyperpigmentation larger than the size of an eraser head is out. And if anything comes to mind on the list that I haven't mentioned and you think is important, always let me know. I like to add those things. Maybe I have missed some things. And if you guys want this slideshow, in the comments, the word advanced. We're doing advanced Skin Classic today. So if you want this slideshow, it's advanced is the word, and you will get this slideshow sent to your messenger via my nurse bot. Isn't that exciting? So let's move along here. Okay, so I did talk briefly about the derm light, but all of you out there that have a Skin Classic, of course, you have a derm light. And the derm light is super important for treating any of our irregularities. But we really look through our derm light to make sure we're not working on anything with a blood supply, making sure that our flat hyperpigmentation is actually brown and not maybe pinkish, which could cause increased redness. So we want to be careful. And also, I think in the past few months, I've taught you how to be melanoma detectives. And if we see the ugly duckling, we can also look with our derm light to see what it looks under the derm light and see if it has the characteristics of the ABCDE of melanoma. But this is super important in your practice when it comes to the Skin Classic. And let me just play this video so you can see a few reasons, of course, for the Skin Classic, but there's other great reasons to own a derm light. Now, the picture that you're looking at right here is a keratosis that you will see being treated in the upcoming slides. But this keratosis is craggy. You can see capillaries around it, but you don't see anything in it. It's dry. It looks like cauliflower. So let me just let you watch this and go from there. Okay, so let's kind of move along here because we have a lot to talk about. There we go. Okay, so there are a few things to little housekeeping I like to go over. I know a lot of you are new. I see new names in here. And so there's a few ways to always keep up with the very technical aspect of what we do. And they are private Facebook groups. Now, I have the Skin Classic Masterclass. Now, that group is for Skin Classic providers that have been trained by us personally. So that's our private group. But my other group, where everyone is welcome with any machines, is the Thermolysis Skincare for estheticians, both of which you need to be a skincare provider. You need to answer a few questions, but this is where a lot of the magic happens when it comes to the Skin Classic and treatments and pictures. Your peers will pop up pictures, ask questions, things that you may be thinking are going on in these two groups. So when you get this slideshow, you're just going to have to click on because all of these links are embedded. So you'll be able to hop right in, answer those questions, and become part of these groups. So very, very important to stay up with us this way. And okay, so this is me fishing, but I kind of wanted to show this because, yeah, I thought that was really a really great picture of me catching a fish. But what I wanted to let you all know is that the summertime, like now, is the time when you can still do Skin Classic treatments. We just need to keep our clients a little bit under wraps. Now, I may be really under wraps, but I'm out on the water. So I had a neck gaiter, a hat, long sleeves. So if you are going to treat clients, just be sure, especially when you're doing advanced work, that you know their lifestyle. If they were out in a boat fishing every day, okay. If they go out like this, that's perfect. If they're out water skiing and getting wet and in the sun, that's no time for a Skin Classic treatment. So you need to, no matter what our treatments are with the Skin Classic, you need to correctly select the client and know what their outside activities are. You must also let them know the healing process. And I think it's super important. I'll go over this just once, but this is our before and after book. And it's 89 pages of before and afters. And it will show you what things look like before and after. But also, so important, if your clients don't know that when you treat their hands that they're going to look kind of bad for a while, then you'll have an unhappy client on your table or in your world. So this book will show clients exactly what to expect, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, this comes with your Skin Classic as a provider. So this is a really great book. And so many of these pictures come to us from the talented Skin Classic providers over the years. And they have really dedicated themselves to taking that great before, getting their client to send a picture while they're healing, and also the after picture. So that's always a great thing to help select the correct client. So, and we also need to take into consideration, along with their what they do outside of the office. You know, it's summertime right now, so you might have excessive sweating. You might look, this nice gal on the right is sweating. So if somebody, say, is doing hot yoga every day and they have sebaceous hyperplasia, maybe they're not a great fit, right? You got to wait until you know that healing time is optimal. And even in the summertime, we may perspire a whole lot. Maybe skin tags under the arms wouldn't be the best idea. Just because we can do it doesn't mean we need to do it. We want the best outcome, so we have to correctly select our client as well. And there's other things that we can do to help this along, even if they are sweaty, because I do like to treat my clients 365 days a year. So maybe under the arms, I might have them use a little cornstarch in the summer when it's really hot. If they're cross cross-country skiers. I don't think they would be a good fit for underarm. Skin tags, because of all the friction. Friction can really make things look angry, make them like kind of weepy, no matter whether you do them or a physician does them. So, so you do have to take those things into consideration. Always, if you have a question, you can ask us in one of the groups. That's what those groups are really great for. Okay, so this is the, let's see if I can get everybody here. So remember, if you want the slideshow in the comments, got to be advanced with a D. So you got to end it right or the bot won't work right. But anyway, I have this slide throughout today's broadcast because we're going to be relating to it. I have to grab something here. So we have our laminated guide, right? You guys all have one that had the Skin Classic. So these are our kind of run-of-the-mill, everyday type of irregularities that we put on here, things that we see in our treatment room on a regular basis. But we do have some others that kind of coming into our treatment room every so often. And I don't want you to be stumped into how to treat them. And some of these things I've done more in-depth treatment videos, but this is something across the board that are more advanced. If you have a question, let me know so I can see your question. So remember, it's advanced with a D. So you'll be getting those. So okay, so great. So I'm going to start off first with syringoma. Okay, so syringoma is not a very usual irregularity. So it's not on my laminated guide. I can't have everything on there because I wouldn't be able to fit it all. So only the ones that we see the most are in there. So let's talk a little bit about the syringoma. And so you know, I do have full trainings on syringoma in the group Thermolysis Skincare for Estheticians, as well as the Skin Classic Masterclass. So this is how syringoma presents. You have these little white bumps under their eyes. They're mostly whitish. There's no material in there. There's no sebum. There's no yellowness. You could actually look with your derm light and see that they're more white inside instead of yellow like milia or that little hard ball. Now, this is a before. A day or two later, you could see the crusts. And then when she's healed, this was the finished product. So this nice lady has been treated, that was about 4 years ago. And since then has been treated probably about 3 different times because syringoma is a dermal irregularity of the sweat gland. And it manifests in the epidermis like these little white bumps. So you may have some of your clients tell you that, wow, they were at the dermatologist and the dermatologist offered to actually excise them, stitch them, and get rid of them. Well, guess what? That will absolutely get rid of them, but that's a pretty harsh treatment, and it is permanent. But with the Skin Classic, we're only leveling out the epidermal issue. They still have the dermal issue. That's why your syringoma client may come back 9 months later and need an additional treatment. But heck, they don't care. They don't want to have them cut out. They don't mind coming to your office every so often knowing the results that they've gotten. So even though it's not a permanent fix, it is a great fix for syringoma. And here, let me show you a video on how we treat it. Now, if you're working around the eye, you really need to have some level of proficiency holding the eye. If you've not worked around the eye, start learning how to stretch the eye. You'll see that when I stretch, I use my working hand to really rest on, say, the forehead and my stretching hand is very deliberate. And so this may help you with placement of your hand. Syringoma is a little difficult to see because it is so fleshy colored. So you'll see me manipulate the skin a little bit. So let me just play this a little for you, but these are available full length at your leisure when you get the slideshow.
Treat these syringomas, some of them that I didn't treat last time. So you could see them all through here, there, and this good cluster, but they look pretty darn good. Go ahead and open your eyes for me for a second. Good, and close. So I'm going to just moisten these. She's had the treatment before, so she knows how it will feel. I'll give you a little touch here. Seem to be okay? Mm-hmm. Great. You just hear the little witch hazel snapping. This cluster here.
Can you all hear that? Good. Give me a thumbs up.
So there's no sparking, there's no smelling of flesh burn. These are just dehydrating these. You doing okay, Sherry? Mm-hmm. Great.
So you can see that there's not a whole lot of things happening while I'm tapping with the witch hazel. So Barbara, I can hear this fine. Wish I could see this more close up to get a good visual. Okay, well, when you get the slideshow, you are going to be able to see it large because it'll come up on your screen. But this is as large as we can get it on the slideshow here. But once you get it into your inbox, you'll be able to pop it up full screen. So that will help. So with the syringoma, you don't see a change in the skin so much. But that's where you're going to need to hold back a little bit and know that if your foot's on the pedal and you have this set at 20, maybe 25, and you're tapping while moving, you will get that crust following day or the day after. Don't go back over it. This is something even like flat hyperpigmentation. We don't want to overdo it and start treating lower levels. And let me show you what I mean. So the syringoma, right? It's at 25 with your F12. You're going to tap in a methodical grid fashion, a little slower than you would for flat hyperpigmentation. And you need witch hazel for this because it is a dry irregularity. So this flat hyperpigmentation might be something like this. Tap, 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 super, super light. Where syringoma might be like tap, 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 a little slower and a little bit more deliberate. So it just needs a little bit more of that. So I hope that helps with syringoma. And now when it comes to cholesterol deposits or xanthelasma, let's just go for this for a second.
Everybody's gonna think I'm cute and funny, and that's fine.
And so when we're treating this, you're going to see a live treatment of the cholesterol deposit. And we're going to treat this like flat hyperpigmentation. And what I mean by that is tapping in a grid fashion. Tap, tap, tap. Whether you go up and down or across, it doesn't matter. You're going to see me treat Edie Kerfoot at a Nasson Pro event. And we weren't on a table. We were sitting in a chair, and she did not have any numbing, and she was fairly comfortable to the point where we were able to do the entire treatment without any numbing. Now, if you feel like around the eyes you need to numb, you certainly can. It won't affect the outcome. But a good stretch, a client comfortable on the table should make this an easy process. Let me go ahead and get to that one. Okay, so this is Edie, and we were at a Nasson Pro. You can see Edie's larger xanthelasma there and there. So let me go ahead and play this video a little bit for you so you can see. And you'll see how easy it is to do. But I know until you actually treat people with these types of irregularities, you say to yourself, and I was speaking with Lois Herbert today, and I know, Lois, you're out there. Sometimes we lack the confidence to really think we can do this for a client until we get our very own before and afters. So I encourage you to treat your clients, make sure that you get a healing picture from them, a selfie, no matter what, even if it's not the greatest selfie, and then invite them back in 30 to 45 days for you to look at everything you treated. And if it needs a second treatment, charge that client $25 for a flat fee, no matter how much you need to work on that. Typically, you won't. Now, this is a type of irregularity. Sometimes these are very large. So I always say to my client, in a month to 6 weeks, you're going to come back here. I want to look at everything I treated, and it's only going to be $25 for this treatment, no matter how much I have to do. And typically, it's not much that you have to do. So you're going to keep your clients super happy and involved. So let me see if this will fly here. Let's see if it'll go by itself, or do I need to go to the page? I'll share this with you. Let me just hang on. You're going to get, this video is embedded here, but for some reason here on my channel, it just won't pop up. So let me do this. Bear with me for just a second. I'll get this video up here. Okie dokie. Here we go. Good. Okay, so now. So it might be a little noisy. We were at a Nasson Pro.
Edie's got her own skin plastic, and we've treated her cholesterol deposits, a few years ago, and they were much larger. But I think we can improve upon what we already did. So I'm going to moisten it with witch hazel, and I'm going to tap it in a uniform fashion. And of course, we're not lying down, so it's not as comfortable. But I'm going to give you a touch. Seem to be okay? Yep. So you hear the witch hazel snap a little bit. So I'm methodically following the whole area here. And I think I missed a little on the top. Up here. Well, Edie, you're really good. Oh, it did bring a little tear to the eye. It did. Even the, it does bring a little tear to the eye, but So it should look like that after. It seems it's made it turn a little whiter. I'm going to turn your head this way. Okay. And then here, wonder what happy place she's gone to.
So it's witch hazel, is that what you said?
Uh-huh. You could use water in a pinch. So I'm just doing this so we can get the camera here too. Okay, so I'm going to be methodical here. I do one line, and then I'll do another. Then I'll do another. She'll develop a crust. The crust will be there for 5 to 7 days. She's had this done before, so she pretty much knows what to expect. But what you want to do is you want to keep it clean, wash it with fingertips, pat dry, and moisturizing sunblock always, or whatever good moisturizer in this area, because you're not really going to get in the sun. And then this area out here. Done. Yay. I don't think I saw anything else. You are like clean. Yeah. Nice.
Find something music.
I know, because you know it's funny when we have these machines, we sometimes don't. I don't really see anything. Yeah, you're good.
No, the only thing I ever did on myself is I had a little capillary there.
Okay, so you will see the video much larger when you are. Hey, good evening, everybody. I know this is kind of an off time for me to go live, but I have a few different communities that I like to try to reach. Sorry, guys. It gets crazy with all of these. So anyway, so that was cholesterol deposits, and she was very comfortable. And you should, can you guys, can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Because they just said that maybe I couldn't be heard. I hate that. Anyway, so let me get to this. Okay, next video. Okay, so we did the syringoma, the xanthelasma, now a pore of Weiner. It's always a crowd favorite for the pore of Weiner. We don't see that many of them, right? But when we do, we usually get very excited. Now, this video that you're going to see was done during a Skin Classic training at Marguerite Hellwich's in Bordentown, New Jersey. And her father had a very deep, big pore of Weiner. I was salivating as I saw it, and I thought, great, this is how we're going to do it. So let me tell you ahead of time. The pore of Weiner, when it's got material in it, right? We're going to use our F12. We need to use the F12 because it's a stiff probe. You can't use an F6. It's too flimsy. It's like a filament. And it's super important that when we are cleaning out a pore of Weiner, we are not using any current. We're just using our handpiece with our F12, and we will go in and stretch the pore and separate the sebum from the pore side walls. And then you can extract any way that you see fit or you like to do. Then we are going to seal this one up. Now, I tell you this because this doesn't always work. It's not something that you can say to your client, oh, this is going to be great. You got this. I'll close this up. You'll love it. It's one of those things that may work or may not work. So that's why it's actually not on here, because I like to have tried and true things on here. And for those of you that are just popping in and you want this slideshow, and believe me, you're going to see these videos really big, really close up when you have them on your own device. But here, I just can't get them to be that big. So let's go ahead and get this pore of Weiner unclogged, and then you'll see how we close it. And the instructions are above and below this, so you'll always have that available. In this video, you will see how the Skin Classic
cleverly treats
and also
clogged pores
them.
and also closes them. We begin by using our F12 probe and inserting into the pore, not the skin,
the core
separating
from the
the
side
pore
wall.
from the side wall.
Once that is loosened,
the
extraction becomes very
easy.
Creating pressure from the
Creating
bottom
pressure
up
from the
will
bottom up
allow the
will
material
allow
to come out
the material
generally
to come out
all
generally
all in one piece.
piece.
This is done with much
with
less trauma than other tools or techniques, as there is no bleeding, no Band-Aids. Who likes this kind of work? Training was done in Bordentown, New Jersey, the Skin Medic with Marguerite Helwich. Already she is a pro at cleaning out these pores and setting this up to close permanently. When we permanently close these pores, we use the same probe, F12. Once this pore is completely cleaned and no residue, we will insert the probe into the pore, not the skin. We get to the base of the pore without any current, step on our pedal at 25, swirl out to seal this pore. This pore closed completely in 2 months. It is not always successful, but always worth a try. I know. Wow. Right, Gina? That is so cool. And so we've seen these pore of Weiner, different areas. Now, in our group, we've had a few questions even this week. I should have popped those pictures up. Now, if something is super wide, like almost like a chicken pox scar, I think somebody had something like that, it will not seal. There's too much around it. I've had one of our awesome Skin Classic providers and trainers, Kimber Jungworth, actually close somebody's little piercing the same way. So it's not something that works all the time, but sometimes it might be worth a try. So if the client is somebody that has something like that and they want to try it, just don't oversell it because it may not work and you may disappoint your client. But yes, who here, give me a thumbs up, loves a good pore of Weiner? Let's move on here. In this video. Okay, so we did the pore of Weiner. We opened it, we closed it. Now we're going to get to a little DPN. Now, DPN really isn't advanced, but somebody had messaged me that they would like to see some DPN. Now, the only way I think DPN is advanced is if you're going to take on a huge job. So I want to show you a video, and a lot of you may have seen a lot of this video, but this was my client about 4 years ago. She had extensive DPN, and I want to show you how we actually treat it. And I want to just get to the good part here. Let's see here. Okay. So we're actually tapping and touching just like we would most of our things. A lot of what happens is tapping and touching.
None of these.
With witch hazel.
She brought me some pictures. Just a little bit. You're doing great.
Oh, and one thing, if you put your phone in landscape, you're going to see a lot better than if you hold it this way. So see, you only get the little thing there. So go ahead and tilt it and see it a lot bigger. Let me know if that helps.
Give me a little rest there.
Now this beauty, I did numb a little bit. She was a little uncomfortable, so I did numb her, and she's still a little uncomfortable, but she got through the treatment. And you're going to be able to see this in its entirety. I don't want to keep you all day, but you can actually see the treatment. You'll see it better on your own device in the slideshow without my face in there. I'm going to stop that, and we're going to get to the next one.
Turn you a little bit there.
So this is that beauty before and after. So she looks a little different only because she's got contacts in that changed her look, but she was super ecstatic about the result, so she changed a little bit of her image, and she looks a lot happier, more youthful, and she's young. So she was 32 when we did this a few years back. She started to get the DPN when she was 18 years old, a few little ones. Then by the time she was 25, she has a progression of pictures. You can find her in our group, Thermolysis Skincare for Estheticians, and you can see the progression of pictures. But she was super happy, and I haven't seen her in probably 3 to 4 years, 3 years now. I can guarantee you she needs more treatment because she's got the propensity for these. She will continually get these during her lifespan. Her aunts, uncles, mom, dad have these. So it's a familiar type of irregularity. And if you can get treating some clients with DPN, you will have a great following of people with DPN that love you because you will clear them out. She doesn't have any makeup on, and you might see a couple dusky areas. Now, I wouldn't call that hyperpigmentation, okay? Now, you can see how dark her DPN is on the left, and on the right, they're gone. She may have a little bit of hyperpigmentation left over from the DPN. That's okay. She is fine with that. Not to be confused with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. There may still be a little residual left, but she's so happy. So don't confuse the two items, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation or leftover DPN. She's got a little base to it. So she's happy. She didn't want any treatment at that time. So I had to let that go. So I hope you guys understand that so that when your client comes back, you're not disappointed like, oh my gosh, well, why does she still have a little bit of brown in the skin? Because they're brown to begin with. Maybe you're looking at the basement level of it, and it might over time lighten up even more, but that's not a big deal. It's totally not a big deal. Mercy says, what causes DPN? It's familiar. It's just like anything else. It's actually part of the keratosis family. So they're growths that occur in usually darker skinned clients like Hawaiian, Filipino, African American, Mexican, but your Caucasians have them too. We have lots of pictures in our group of Caucasians that have DPN. They're clustered up, not the big honkin' keratosis, but the smaller ones. So it's something that they don't actually know exactly what causes them, but it is a pretty familiar type of irregularity. Okay, so we did the DPN. Here's a fun one for me. I love milia. Now, there are different types of milia, and I know a lot of you out there get confused because there's different shapes of milia. So with that said, different shapes of milia have to be treated in different ways. It's size specific. It's not just one size fits all with milia. So there are some milias under the eye that all we do is just tap it, we see it turn white, and we're done. So if you have someone, though, with very pronounced milia, then you're going to need to treat them a little differently. Let me get to a couple of these slides. I'll have to switch over to my TikTok because that's where it is and it's just not showing up here, but I'm going to show you because some of you have seen this and maybe some of you haven't. But so some milia are so tiny, and I'm going to do an insertion technique with an F6. And here it is. Let me do something here so I can get you that video a lot easier. I'm going to share. But the link, when you get your slideshow, the link will pop it right up for you. You won't have to worry about that.
That's okay. They're wrong though.
Hang on just a second. I just popped this one up the other day, and you'll see this so much better on your own device, but remember to put it in landscape and you're going to see it better. But what you're seeing is the F6 sliding right into the milia, and you'll see it bloom. This is all done on 20. You slide it in and you can see it bloom. It will dehydrate that milia. That milia is not super full. It's not the milia that I feel like I would need to extract to get out of there. The current will dehydrate it and also kills bacteria. So what you would expect with this is every place that we inserted into this milia, the next day we'll get a little red crust. The crust is dry, and as the days move on, the crust will fall away, and so will the milia. So it is a little bit advanced, especially for those of you, if you're in a state that you're not allowed to penetrate the epidermal, you're not allowed to use a lancet, then you probably wouldn't want to use this technique. I find it to be useful for this type of milia, and it is a bit more advanced. The milia that we have on our card strictly says to just touch, say with an F12, it'll turn white and it's done. There's no need to extract. But these I felt warranted that little insertion with the current on in order to really get rid of these. And this was a great treatment during a training. This was not me working. This was our trainee. So this was awesome. So this is in its entirety in this slideshow. But let me stop that. And so sorry about the juggling a little of this and that, but it just wouldn't allow me to do that. And I wanted to make sure that you saw these videos. Okay, so this large milia is by the eye. And again, I let you know up front, you need to be able to work near the eye. Like, hey, Mercy, you work around the eye all the time because you're doing permanent makeup and things like that. So you probably have a good presence around the eye, can hold the eye very still. And that's what you need to do for the advanced work around the eye. And it may not be for everyone, but that's okay. Little by little, you might start doing more. Now, this large milia was of the technique 2 with the current on 20 and an F12 probe. We're going to touch, insert into the milia and come out. And then we take our foot off the pedal and stretch that pore. because we needed to evacuate this larger milia. It was important to get that material out of there. It wouldn't all by itself dehydrate and go away. So that's the subjective part about this. You need to decide, is this a tiny one that's just going to dry up? Or will I need to try to get that ball or that little pea or pearl out of there? So let you watch this one.
Might be a little uncomfortable.
And you will
doing
see it
that.
very close up
But what
when
I'm
you
trying
get
to
the
do
slideshow.
is get this opening. I'm done with the probe. So it's going to be manipulating this. So I
Okay.
just want you to keep your eye relaxed.
Alright, as long as you're not shocking me up, probably gonna be pretty good with this.
Yeah.
And if you have any comments, please let me
Take a
know.
little
Or
tweezer
questions, I'll pop
and
the
feel
answers
that jaw.
out.
There we go. That's kind of what you're going to feel. You're okay with that, right?
Yeah.
See, ooh. So I like to use those little hook tweezers. They work nice around the eye.
Mm-hmm.
But you see how steady you need to be around the eye. You can't be taking your hands away back and forth. You have to keep your client comfortable and they know that you're in command. And there, I got the whole thing out. And it was because I was able to stretch the pore in order to get that pea-size sebum out of there. I didn't want to, look at that. Ooh. But again, hold your phone in landscape if you want to see it larger. Good morning, Gwen and Michelle. Okay, so I think we're going to move on here. And again, these are going to be in their entirety, so you're going to be able to see them. Okay, so here's a thicker milia, and let me see if I have my Vimeo on here. Okay, so I'm not quite sure this is going to play right here, but if it's not, I'm going to get it to play. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to share this one with you. Just give me a second, and I will get these out. Okie dokie. I hope I got it. This video, you will see some thick milia treated with the Skin Classic. We're using an F12. Our machine is on 20. And you can see that the pore was widened with the cold. I hate that it's not big here, but you will get it big.
Approaching the milia. Our foot is on the pedal, and we touch, insert to the sebum, come out, and then we take our foot off the pedal, stretch the pore, and evacuate. And it may seem like I am a bit rough on his skin, but he had super thick milia that was really embedded. So normally extractions don't look this vigorous. Again, touching, inserting, and now stretching the pore. That allows the size of the pore to let that thick milia out. That is the technique used throughout this nice man. And this same technique is applied to acne cysts. If there was an acne cyst under the skin, you stretch the skin, identify the sebum, and that is where your probe will touch, insert, and then come out. It is important to not tap
milia. We only want one touch and one pore opened. If we do multiple taps, especially to milia like this, it will not take care of it. This needs to come out of the skin, and doing so with a wider pore makes it much easier and less vigorous on the skin. So even the super large ones are easily done. I generally, there we go. It didn't get all the way in there. And stretching the skin is the utmost important because you can see how the skin's moving around, but we want it as tight as a drum. Sometimes around the eye it may be a little difficult, but I finally did get it. And with large milia, most of the time you will be successful. However, I have come across milia that is super dry.
Not many, where I actually could not extract it. But these have been there for many years and cheesy-like. So they came out fairly easy for him being an elderly gentleman. And again.
Okay, so let me get out of there. So you could see that even the thicker ones work really, really well. Let me get that. Yeah. Okay. So they work super well, but there's a little technique involved, right? You've really got to stretch that pore wide without the current in order to get that cheesy material out. So I hope that helps with the larger milia, and of course, so much fun to do. Let me kind of get here. And so that was milia requiring extraction. We did it at 20, F12. With the current, we touched insert in one motion. Then with our foot off the pedal, we go back into the pore that was created and stretch it really wide, and then use the extraction of choice for you. And yes, Mercy said that she loves to put a little drop of Celluvisc in her client's eye before she uses numbing cream around it. And yes, it does keep the numbing cream from getting in the eye. And if you're using numbing cream around the eye for any reason, make sure that it is pH balanced. If it's not pH balanced, then it will irritate the cornea and could actually cause a burn to the cornea. So I make up these SKINIPPETS. Now, I know in the beginning I showed you our two groups, our Thermolysis group and our Skin Classic Masterclass group. And you know, I love you all. But I also do hold, an affinity for my customers. I love to share all of my information, but my SKINIPPETS, you're going to get one of these SKINIPPETS. My SKINIPPETS are in that group. Skin Classic Masterclass, which I reserve for our Skin Classic providers. And I know I get a little backlash from people that have been trained by other companies and they want in, but there is just, there's just a little I got to hold out for my providers, for people that have supported me. So I try to support them in a different way. We talk about different things in that group, maybe some questions that we're not asking in the other group that are really specific to the Skin Classic. So I apologize if we don't let everybody in that group, but the Thermolysis group, is super active. Our providers are in there. Our Skin Classic people that are working with the devices answer all kinds of questions. It's a super supportive group. So, but this is what you can expect to see out of a SKINIPPET. So if you're a Skin Classic provider, you go into the group and say, oh my gosh, I forgot how to treat a large keratosis. It's coming in and I want to see it. All you'll have to do is quickly come in and is a quick SKINIPPET of treating very large keratosis with the tag probe. So I'm going to get straight to this, and there we go. And so all of you out there that are using the Skin Classic or a similar device that have been trained by us, you know that this is our tag probe. They're milled here for us in the United States. It's 100% surgical stainless steel. I want to show you a video. I'll narrate and show you exactly how to use your tag probe with your Skin Classic on large keratosis. Now, here we go. Large keratosis can sometimes be found on the face, and you've probably seen this nice lady maybe in the manual. But when I get started with my tag probe, you'll see that I'm using almost like a plucking type of technique. I moisten it with witch hazel. They dry up very quickly, so you'll find that you'll dab more with your witch hazel on these thick ones. I'm creating enough pressure to actually get that high frequency to dehydrate it. I'm pushing a little harder. You know, when we treat flat hyperpigmentation, it is as light as a feather. This actually needs that point, needs to get into that keratosis so that it will dehydrate deep down. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing it a little lighter and maybe having to do a second treatment. But as you get your hands down as far as pressure, that will be up to you. Now, I like to try to do it in one session, and this fell off in about 10 days. So what I'll also do with these thicker ones that are really raised, and not all of them, is I will take the point of the probe and see how I'm going around the keratosis, sort of trying to lift it off of the skin. But I don't want to lift it off the skin at all. I want it to dry out, flake off all by itself. Remember, you're not in the business to remove these keratosis, but to treat them. I will show you as well how to remove it, because many of you out there are my medical professionals who we do train to remove. But estheticians, please stay within your scope of practice and treat, not remove. So I can see that this is very well dehydrated, and I will go on to the next. This one. Okay, so let me get to that last one here. That's her before and after picture, and that was in about 10 days. I saw her at the pizzeria. That's why that picture doesn't look as great as it does, lighting wise. Now this video, I'll come back and I'll do another SKINIPPET on it as far as the removal. But let me get back to tree. Okay, so this treatment was just like the one you just saw. But if you want to see one removed, then let's do this. And these videos are going to be for you to watch at your leisure, so we won't have to watch them all. This was also done at a training, and this was a keratosis on an arm, and we looked with it with the derm light, and it was a go. And this was Randy doing this, tapping methodically, kind of like a shovel, like pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And he as well went around the side, but this actually removed it. He was a little more vigorous in getting underneath of it, and there was no bleeding. So I'll let you watch just a little bit. I don't want to keep you too long, but the whole idea is to dehydrate it from the top, the entire top of it, and then you take that nice point from your tag probe and gently go in and lift the edge all the way around. And this way, as it heals, it will more likely completely fall off without residual. So it was during a training, so I had to kind of re-instruct him how it needed to be done, but we all have to start somewhere, right? He had a good idea, wanting to use the probe to kind of like slice it off, but actually when you use it, the probe, and push in with the current, it will be a bit more precise and less likely any bleeding. Again, he's doing it, but
That's it. There you go.
yes, see, so that's what you want to do. See how he's getting in there with the current. The client was comfortable, no numbing cream, but the whole idea is you've got to get all the way around the circumference. Now, I will tell you, he was anxious to remove it because he's a physician's assistant, but you don't need to. And if you start removing, it's going to take
You're the
longer
best.
and it can get weepy like a brush burn. So if you tap them, dehydrate them just like I do on the face and what you've seen me do, then you're going to be great. You won't have to worry about it one bit. Again, that was a large keratosis. Here is the instruction. You put your machine on 30, use that tag probe and methodically shovel with the tag probe on the entire top. Then you're going to lift the tag probe around the entire circumference. And that is a terrific way to treat the keratosis. And I don't think we have any questions. Oh, but thanks, Mercy. That's awfully nice. Again, if you're just jumping in, I'm Stephanie Halvik, owner of RN Faces. If you want the slideshow on how to do these advanced techniques, in the comments below or beside, however it is for you, put the word advanced with a D, and my nurse bot will get them to your messenger. I hope that you are enjoying this and learning something from it. So now, how to dehydrate very large tags. Now, skin tags are very easy to treat, right? We've all treated them. But then what happens when you see a very large skin tag, something that kind of makes you think, I don't know if I can treat that? Well, first of all, you'll grab your tag probe. And let me just tell you first, and then I'm going to have to go to TikTok in order for you to see this. TikTok's not jiving up with my Be Live, but when you get this slideshow, it certainly will. So no worries there. When you have your largest probe, which is the tag probe, and you are going to put your machine on 30. Like our machine, you do between 30 and 35. 30 works well. If you're not seeing the tag dehydrate, then maybe put it up 5, but you very rarely have to adjust that pressure or that intensity. So think of your skin tag like a giant balloon, right? You've got the neck where it's tied up, and then you've got the top of it. Well, with your tag probe set at 30, you are going to touch directly on top of the balloon. You're going to give it a good little bit of pressure, and you're going to hold it for approximately 6 seconds or so. I can't really tell you exactly how many seconds, but I like to hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. You'll start to see it like blossom. And as you do, not just the first little speck that you see, but you really want to dehydrate it from the top inward, so that when you go and start tapping and touching around the bottom of it, the stalk, it will really be truly dehydrated. Where a lot of people get into trouble is they may see a big skin tag like that, and they might do something like tap, 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 and that's too light of a connection. You need to really get the current in here to dehydrate. Once you just see it blanch a little bit, doesn't mean you're done. So these larger ones call for more time, more hang time on that initial touch. And when you do, you will see that probably that skin tag will be gone in one treatment. I still don't guarantee it, but if I can really get to that skin tag and dehydrate it longer, the longer I hang on it, the more it's completely dehydrated and won't need a second treatment. Yeah, Kath, I'm going to be at the show, but you have to buy them off my website. I don't carry them to the show, so they're in my store right now. So the only thing I'm taking to the show is a Skin Classic and my Derm Light. So okay, so I'm going to get this video for you right now, if I can, because this was a good one, I thought. Oh, Oh, before I do that, let's get onto this acne cyst. I'll get onto that tag. I'll share that with you. But acne is one more of those things that can be advanced, and we treat it just like we do that thick milia. We've got to get our probe into the cyst, bring it out, go back in without any current, and stretch it really well. I hope this will play nicely for you.
Occasionally you have to clean the material off of your probe too. I'm going to stay methodically. I'm going to go through her cheeks here and see what I can help her with. So she's a little red in here, but she doesn't have anything really breaking out here. Now, can you see that? Okay. Here she has a very active pimple. I'm going to touch it until something happens.
Means turning
You
white.
see a change, you see the sebum rise. Let me clean that sebum off of there. There we go. You okay, Melissa? Yeah, okay. Now the pore is open. I'm going to slip this back into the pore. I'm not in the skin. I'm not penetrating the skin. I'm penetrating the pore. I'm stretching the pore. Now I will use my extractor just to help a little bit of that material out so that there's not as much pressure behind it. You okay? Mm. There we go. And now I'm just going to dry it up inside, in and out with the current on.
That helps kill the bacteria.
You okay? Yeah. Okay. And Melissa's had these done before, and she knows that just because I did that, that's the pressure is going to be relieved almost immediately, so that when she touches these, they're not going to be painful any longer. There's a lot of nerve endings down in where the material is, and it pushes up against.
You'll be able to see that in its entirety. And that's a really old video of mine, but I really like it because it does show it up close and actually going into the skin. So that's something that, again, if it's not in your scope of practice in your state to break the skin, then you probably wouldn't want to treat these. So just, FYI on that one. So be careful with that. But if you have any questions about that type of treatment, always feel free, ask in the group. And collectively, we always give you great advice. I have other acne videos that are in the group as well. Let me get to our next one here because I know we got to get moving. Okay, so flat hyperpigmentation. This isn't going to come up on here, and I'm so mad that it isn't. But let me see if I can get this up here. Hang on, because flat hyperpigmentation is something that everybody always asks about. So I want to make sure that you see how this is treated. I'm going to share that with you. Okay, good. And here we go. So when you're treating flat hyperpigmentation, it is always super helpful to treat super light. You can see that brown spot. Hopefully that's going to be coming on here. Huh. Okay.
Stretch.
Oh.
Okay. Just moisten that.
Hang on. The hell? I'll play this for you. Hang on just a sec. Getting rid of her.
You okay, Lori?
Mm-hmm. So let me get that bigger. And anyway, so I don't want that crazy thing to start. So we'll just get rid of all those for a second. And I'll get back here. Let's do this. Okie dokie. So let me move on. And if you guys, I'm just looking to see if you have any questions. Do I take trade-ins on other machines? No, I don't. It's just never been a policy to do, but hang on just a second. Because we just came to our slideshow here. So if you are someone who has a different machine, but you want training with me or one of our Skin Classic providers, we have that option. If you have another machine and you would like to work on 4 to 5 models in your chair via Facebook Messenger with me, guiding you through the treatments, I have online training, and you can even do that with Afterpay. I also have in-house training. We come to you, we travel to you, whatever it takes for $1,500. You'll get the same 4 to 5 models in person. We look over your shoulder. We make sure that you're doing everything correctly. And it's really important when you're using these devices to feel that you can actually do these procedures. And the best way is to have somebody not just show you, but to stop you when you're working. And I might say, okay, stop. You're done with that one. Because we have the propensity to overdo these little spots that we're working. We feel like we need to get every single little thing. Well, we don't need to. So it's very helpful for you to have someone either eyeballing you via Facebook Messenger, that would be me, or even if we come into your facility and train you one-on-one. So there's always that opportunity. You don't have to have a Skin Classic. You can have a Lamprobe, a Thermoclear. You might have a different machine. We're happy to help. We want to make sure that everybody in this industry stays safe, that we can still use these machines moving forward, that we stay safe. And the best way to do that is pretty much to uniformly treat these irregularities. But there are more than one way to skin a cat, and I know that. But I do feel like we're trying to be as safe as possible. For those of you that want to purchase a Skin Classic, they're $49.75, and they come with one-on-one training in your facility, the derm light, the before and after book, the laminated guide, all the probes, all of the after support, our special Skin Classic Masterclass group, all of that. But you always have me in your back pocket, and all of our talented providers and trainers in our group as well. I also have it with a no interest payment plan. You can get the Skin Classic with as little as $2,000 down, and you can even afterpay that in $500 increments with $100 for 30 months, no interest. So that's something I try to provide that will help you get into the Skin Classic. You should be making anywhere from $100 to $300 to $400 per client. If you're not really looking at your clients like you have a Skin Classic. When you have a device like this, you are going to see double what you think you have seen in the past. So it's very important to start looking at these things. If you're new to the Skin Classic, you're just watching us because you want to see what it's all about, start thinking about all of the little clogged pores, cherry angiomas, all of those things you see on your client. You're going to want to clear the canvas and get rid of all of that before you move on to your more beautifying type of procedures like microneedling, microdermabrasion, peels. And for those of you that have another machine, but were never privy to the derm light, you know that we talk a lot about the derm light. And unfortunately, the derm light just went up in price in the country, but you will never find it lower than $299. Everyone else is selling it for $395. So if you're thinking about purchasing a derm light, you're never going to get a better price for it as if you do through us. And we have a lot of different videos on how to use it, how it's so useful in your world. And I don't know if anyone has any questions. Oh, thanks, Gina. That's awfully nice. And yes, I am in your back pocket. Absolutely. I love to support my people that have totally supported me. You have issues with setting the probe correctly. Can you talk about that issue? Let me see who that was because your name is not coming up. Okay, so it's Edie May. Okay, so I don't know what's happening with yours, but let me show you. Okay, so when you're seating your probe in the probe holder, right? This is the probe holder. This comes off, but you don't want to take it off. You just want to untwist it a little bit. Okay, so now take a look. It's got 4 different quadrants. It's adjustable. If you're, and tell me if this is your problem, Edie, is it slipping out of the probe holder? Let me know, because if it is, this is adjustable, right? So you can take a heavy tweezer and you can just kind of close it up a little bit. If you've had a Skin Classic for years and never had to replace your handpiece, that's pretty good. But if you haven't, sometimes they get loose and they fall out. All you have to do is just clamp it a little bit. And if you clamp it too tight, slip a tag probe point first in to properly size it. That may help so that when you go ahead and put your probe in, make sure you hold it horizontal. You untwist it once or twice, slip it in, close it up nice and tight, and it should be good. So let me see if that's what happened to you. Oh, thanks, Leslie. I appreciate that, Leslie. Not being deep enough. Maybe so. Maybe you didn't slip it in halfway. Rule of thumb, slip it in about halfway. Slip it in so it looks like it does in the videos that I show. Maybe that will help. And have the settings on newer machine change? Nope. The settings have been the same since 2007. So if you're working with our oldest machine, it's going to be the same. If you're working with it with a machine you just bought last month, it's going to be the same. So that's always been the nice thing, that we've never changed the increments at all. Is it good to get a derm light without buying a Skin Classic just yet? Well, Rebecca, it depends on what you want to use it for. You know, your derm light can be used if you do tattoo removal. You'll be able to see ink in the skin. You might be able to tell which depth you want to work in order to remove it. You might want to, if you're doing hair restoration and you're microneedling for hair growth, you can actually take pictures of the vellus hairs as they're growing in. But, you know, you're going to get one with your Skin Classic. And so you may as well just wait and get one with the Skin Classic. That's what I would do. And yours is set. Have this? No. Okay, got that. But they are a great idea to have for any skin geek, and people that do have them that don't have a Skin Classic absolutely love them. But I feel like I got a lot more purpose for my derm light. Because I got it because I supply it with the Skin Classic. But you could, if you like. There's nothing wrong with that. And I will be at the IECSC next, the end of this month. So I'll be at 1171 if anybody is interested. And let me just go on for this one. And if anybody needs to get in touch with me, you can absolutely always get me on Facebook, on Instagram, all of those different platforms. But follow me on TikTok, because I always have a lot of fun on there and do a lot of Skin Classic close up there. So, so just to recap, we have all of these slides for you. If you, next to in the comments, give us the word advanced, you're going to get things like syringoma, cholesterol deposits, the keratosis, the large skin tags, all of those good, yummy things we like to work on, but maybe we don't see every day in our office. So I hope this helped you guys. And if there's anything I can do for you, never hesitate to call upon me. Go out and have a great week. It's Monday, and I will see you next Monday. Bye, everybody. Thanks.